10 years in business. It's quite a milestone for Jason Howell Company. In reality, my experience in personal finance goes back to the 1990s as a bank teller in Annandale, Virginia. I spent my college years working for banks that have since gotten gobbled up, and then I graduated from George Mason University and became an accountant.
But if I were you, I wouldn't want to be a part of any other class or any other generation of Mason.
I turned down the opportunity to work for brokers about 3 or 4 times during my accounting career. Back then, it was just a sales job. It was in banking and accounting where I first learned to become a good steward of other people's money. Looking back, starting a wealth management firm of any kind was the last thing on my mind. In 1999, I'd started an accounting firm for musicians, but by 2011, there was a bigger picture to take into account. In 2011, the United States and the rest of the world really was still coming out of the Great Recession.
Down 1.7% here, a loss of 37 points or so. Apple shares are just getting hammered this morning.
We're down by between 3 and 4.5% generally across these markets. Let's talk about the speed with which we are watching this market deteriorate.
We're down over 16%. Dow at the same time has fallen about 18%.
The stock market is now down 21%.
It was the worst day on Wall Street since the crash of 1987.
I was watching politicians on C-SPAN debate raising the debt ceiling for this country, which led to our first U.S. downgrade, the first in history. I thought maybe someone from Gen X should run for office. And in 2012, that's exactly what I did. Ladies and gentlemen, my fellow Americans, and especially the residents of the 8th Congressional District, I'm speaking with you today from Arlington County to tell you personally, if not just verbally, that I'm running as an independent for the United States House of Representatives.
And to take responsibility for both our economic and our political challenges we faced in 2012 as a community and as a country. I've got an accounting and finance background, which dovetails very well with our challenge to the budget, with debt, with jobs, and all these categories we can do so much better. I'm running as an independent because that is the only way, the only factual way to reduce partisanship is to send people who do not represent a party.
Well, I lost. And after I lost, a 3rd-generation life insurance agent bought me breakfast, which, by the way, if you ever have a friend that runs for office and loses, invite them out for a meal, and trust me on that one. He asked what I had planned to do next. I told him I had planned to win, so I had no idea. He then suggested I meet his boss, and I mentioned that I may have met his boss about 15 years ago in those same 1990s when I turned down the job back then. But I agreed to meet his boss again anyway. What I learned from that hours-long meeting changed how I saw my life. If I couldn't write the financial laws for this country, I could at least help the public navigate those financial laws by becoming a financial advisor. I spent 2.5 years learning the insurance business primarily, and only by happenstance the fee-only fiduciary business. In August of 2015, I left the brokerage firm to start a new kind of wealth management company, one that focused not just on the client sitting in front of us, but on the entire family. A focus not just on investments or insurance, but on all things financial, adding banking, estate planning, taxes, philanthropy, and family governance. This was a newer idea back then, and my ideas, my opinions, were getting recognized regionally. By 2016, I was on the local news every other week.
Joining me now to explain is Jason Howell, President and Family Wealth Advisor at Jason Howell Company. All right, Jason, let's start with some background here. Bring us up to date.
Well, the devil is always in the details, and that is especially the case when it comes to the financial industry.
One of my most controversial opinions and ideas at the time, that all financial advisors should be fiduciaries.
Today, the Obama administration acted to require brokers who recommend investments for retirement savers to meet a stricter standard. Now they must act as fiduciaries or trustees who are obligated to put their clients' best interests first. Joining me with the latest is Jason Howell, Family Wealth Advisor at Jason Howell Company. All right, Jason, these rules have been the target of heated lobbying campaigns from the financial industry and consumer advocates. Who won?
Consumers won more. Consumers and about 75,000 financial planners and advisors who actually supported this rule. This is the most important retirement act coming out of Washington, D.C. since the Employee Retirement Income Security Act of 1974.
The fiduciary rule eventually became a thing in 2016, but so did Brexit and a truly brutal U.S. presidential election that took partisanship and class warfare to another level. Probably the most significant thing to happen for Jason Howell Company over the next year, besides passing the Certified Financial Planner exam, was welcoming my now business partner, Doug Tease. And I'll let him continue the story.
I had just left corporate finance and was looking for an opportunity to work in wealth management. Jason and I had a mutual friend who happened to serve as his campaign manager and a peer of mine in the company I just left. We were introduced. Jason met my wife, I met his wife, we met each other's kids, and the rest is history.
I actually encouraged Doug to visit with other firms, and he did, but he kept coming back to discuss how we could work together. We figured out that our skills were complementary, and by working together, we could serve clients holistically without having to individually excel or even enjoy every part of the business.
I don't love being on camera or on stage, but Jason doesn't mind it and does great there, and it helps the firm grow. I do enjoy getting to know the clients first through their finances, and then in our series of meetings for our financial planning process. And in between those meetings, I don't mind looking over a client's proverbial shoulder as they set up college funding, employer benefits, or just to walk them through a difficult situation.
And that's a good segue to how we serve our clients. Family wealth management involves considering the needs of all family members for all things financial. We specialize in multi-generational wealth planning. What made us unique from our founding 10 years ago is we incorporated a family governance process that ensures that we are as focused on the individual dynamics of family preservation and values as we are on wealth preservation and investments. Many wealthy families feel overwhelmed when it comes to managing substantial wealth effectively. We understand that essentially making financial decisions around investments, taxes, estate planning, insurance, banking, all of that can feel isolating and confusing, especially when the numbers get larger. We empathize with the weight that comes with especially newfound wealth after an inheritance or selling land or selling a business. It's a lot. It's too much to handle alone. The world says you are a success, but you worry about preparing your children to achieve without spoiling them. You wonder about sustainability and charity and what's really appropriate to give to family, both while you're alive and when you're not. We don't pretend to have all of the answers, but over the past 10 years, we've done the work. We've earned the credentials, partnered with experts, and we've learned a lot from our client families.
We did all this through the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic, the historic rise of interest rates and inflation, a brief banking scare, and a hotly divided political environment that's still ongoing. Our coordination with strategic partners in estate planning, tax planning, investment management, risk management, wealth counseling, and others together provide a service that rivals some of the most well-known private banks.
I like to say if you like patronizing a hidden gem rather than a chain, if you like working with owners, not just employees, you're gonna like partnering with Jason Howell Company. There are fewer advisors who have done similar training or taken the time to develop partnerships to solve the real problems that come with more money. There are more wealthy families in America than there were 5 years ago.
We understand how daunting it can be to navigate the complexities of newfound wealth.
You no longer have to feel isolated, overburdened, and overwhelmed with financial decisions. You shouldn't have to face financial management alone. Feel confident in your decision-making.
Empower your children with a wealth of character.
Join us. Book a consultation by visiting jasonhowell.com.